picture of the supplies that I am using, and you can find these all in the description area if you decide that you would like to use them. Here is a picture of the watercolor paper from Fluid, which was hot press that I used. And I did a test strip here of the supplies, and here I am starting off really lightly, and I'm using the Art Graph Watercolor Graphite. I'm basically going to be mixing the graphite with the watercolor. I used the poppy red at, to draw it in the image that you saw earlier, because I was hoping, or it did work, that it would just blend in and you wouldn't really see too much of it. And I picked the poppy red because if it is showing, there's some of the color at the nose and wouldn't be too distracting. I'm laying in the background here, and I decided to just change it a bit and put in a blue, and just getting that graphite going all over the place. And let's see, as I'm looking at this, describing it to you, the next phase is I let it dry, and that's why you saw that transition there. And now I'm trying to go to some mid-tones, and I'm putting in some watercolor. And in my test, it did work. Now, the paper that I did the test on was different than the paper I'm using, so this is quite interesting. I really wasn't sure how this was going to work yet. This is an experiment. I've never used these together, all of these combos of the graphite, watercolor, and just the Kuretake. And I haven't really used Kuretake watercolors too often, so these are new colors basically to me, a new palette that I'm using. Here I let it dry again, and just now I'm starting to put in some of the darks. As I was saying with the paper is a hot press, so it's really, really slick. I've used it before with pen, and it was beautiful with pen, but I really wasn't sure how this was going to work with the watercolor. In the end, I'm basically happy with the end result, but it really was taking me some time. There were areas I really had to go back in and work with some water and feather out of areas by adding water. And I'm just getting in here with that darker colors. Now it's interesting, I don't do many cats, I usually do a lot of people. So I really had to find my personal way into working on this piece because it was a cat. So I sometimes explored, I tried to stay with basic shapes and then put in the details, which would make sense. But every once in a while, I would actually start to create a line that was a little bit more detail oriented rather than the shape. So it was basically towards the end, approaching a combination, and that's because I'm basically experimenting with the subject matter itself, which is normal when you don't really do these kinds of, pieces, or I'm not really have done too many animals, so it's a huge experiment altogether. And I went really, really dark with the other, a black of the Kuretake, and there were some shapes that I made that I really was struggling with because the cat started to not look happy. I was hoping for a happy cat. But the shapes that I ended up putting down kind of made him look a little bit maybe sad, mad. In the end result, I think that the kitty looks intense, It's not necessarily the cutie, cutie, kitty, but the intense kitty is the final result. I'm still going to post this anyway. It took a lot of time. These videos do take a lot of time to make, and I wanted to share it with you. Just the combination of the actual medium because of the graphite. I thought they worked well together. I'd be willing to try another piece with this combination of materials. And the Kuretake watercolors are a delight to work with. They're bright, they're vibrant, and they're a joy to work with. I'm going to go ahead and just put some music on for the end of this video, and I'll speak a little bit at the very, very end, but at least for, well, what I'm trying to say is this part. All right. Talk to you in a little bit. Here's a still of the final. I hope that you found something in this that may be useful to you. It was quite the experiment, and I would try it again. I do like how the graphite works with the watercolor, the graphite watercolor. Anyhow, if you'd like to see more, please subscribe and leave any comments. I'd love to hear from you if you tried this or any thoughts that you may have. Have a great day, evening, wherever you are, and I hope you're inspired to do some art.